Well, hello there, watching the press preview. A first look at what is on the front pages. Time to see what's making the headlines then with the Daily Mirror's associate editor, Kevin Maguire, and the Daily Mail columnist, Amanda Platell. Welcome and great to see both of you. Front pages then, let's start, shall we, with The Guardian reporting on the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt being opened for the first time in more than 3 weeks of war. With a photo, as you can see, pictured on the right-hand side of the paper with a boy taken into an ambulance for treatment. Their main story, though, is about pandemic hitting brain health of the over 50s, a study finds. Well, the Financial Times also has the Rafah border crossing on its front page up the top there, which pictures families crowding through the gate. It leads, though, on US interest rates. The Eye, the headline, 400 escape from Gaza hell. While the Daily Express reports on the Foreign Secretary saying he will not rest until the government has done what it can to help British citizens in Gaza. While the Telegraph reports on the British citizens who have been unable to leave. Meanwhile, the Metro leads on King Charles urging the world to unite to combat the risks from artificial intelligence. It's also the front of the Daily Mail with warnings from Elon Musk that he believes AI is one of the biggest threats to humanity. Well, quick reminder, by scanning the QR code you'll see on screen during the programme, you can check out the front pages of tomorrow's newspapers while you watch us and listen to our guests. So let's head to Kevin and Amanda. Welcome to both of you. Some extraordinary pictures in the newspapers about the injured who've been able to leave Gaza, taken across the border. Your paper's gone on it, The Guardian as well. So finally, people being able to get out.
It is, and there's this picture of the boy with his left leg in plaster. It's on the front of The Guardian. It's on the front of the Daily Mirror, and you've got a feel for him. He looks absolute agony. But also got to remember, it's only 76 injured. Now, if 8,000 or 9,000 people have been killed in Gaza, the number of injured must be far more than that. And of course, the more severely injured probably can't be moved. So, fortunate for this boy, he's now into Egypt. If he's only one of 76. And 335 nationals have been, dual nationals or foreign nationals have been allowed to leave. That's 400 in all. There's 2.3 million people in Gaza.
It's an absolute drop in the
ocean. It is. It's almost PR now. It won't be PR for those who get out, but it's PR in a sense. Oh, look, there's a chink of light. Things can get better, but it's not for the vast majority of the population.
Basically, 20 or 30 ambulances carrying people in acute medical conditions outside into a holding system. Maybe they get into Egypt, and I just think that if this is supposed to be some sort of way of saying that this is a humanitarian act, it is a drop in an ocean of suffering.
It is. It's rather like the aid going in. There used to be more than 400 trucks a day going into Gaza.
Now, 20 or 30?
We're talking about tens. So I can see there's a PR value on behalf of the Israeli forces and the Egyptians, but it's not really helping the people of Gaza in any meaningful way if you put it into proper perspective.
Well, the Eye also going with this as well, suggesting about 400 escaped from Gaza hell. The figures we certainly had earlier were that it was 76 wounded people, plus their companions who'd got out. A departure of 6 buses carrying 335 passengers carrying foreign passports, some of them Jordanian, we know. 51 trucks arriving today carrying aid, and it'll happen again tomorrow. So that's the suggestion. And Joe Biden's certainly hoping that 400 Americans have asked to get out. So with dependents, they're looking at about 1,000 people trying to get out. So, they're definitely suggesting that will happen over the coming days.
Yeah, suggesting, and let's hope it does happen. But 100 trucks is still only a quarter of what was going in per day before. They haven't gone in that number for more than 3 weeks now, and it's a desperate humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
And you just wonder how this is supposed to shift the dial. How this is supposed to, we've got real crisis in the Labour Party, with Keir Starmer quite courageously, I believe, trying to hold the line. The talk of a ceasefire, balancing that with humanitarian aid, and then you see this. Is this going to be enough to appease anyone? And in the meantime, we've been told that at least 7 of the hostages have been killed in these strikes. and we're being told that half a dozen hostages are going to be let out. It's just, I just, you know, I hate to describe it as, you know, some sort of PR event, but, you know, there's a lot of human management of, you know, who are we showing are the good guys, who's doing the right things. We've opened the gates, you know, we've let people through. We've let, like, 25 people through.
In any war, there's an information war. Hamas play it too, with a limited releases, with very limited releases.
But you just look at these newspapers today and you think, you know, is this really kind, you know?
Well, we're into months of this, that's the point. The ground incursion, you know, the destruction of the tunnels, the finding of all the Hamas terrorists, as Israel calls them, you know, that will be months.
And the killing of thousands of Palestinian civilians. You know, there's, what, 8,000 or 9,000 killed already, so it's not just the targeting of Hamas and the tunnels, is also killing civilians, which is a war crime.
Because even one of the Hamas officials today said, you know, this is a price we pay for success. This is what a price we pay. You know, we are all in it together. You are all martyrs in this war. And you think, Lord alive, you see the pictures, those little bags of just little bodies of kids.
There's areas, refugee camps are becoming graveyards.
Who is winning the PR war at the moment?
Well, there is another video out today with Hamas saying that what happened on October the 7th was just the start. There'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 more of those, you know, and then you understand why Israel feels it has to take action. The rockets are going.
Of course you do.
So it's, you know, it's hell.
I always think, what happened if that attack had been on Britain? That 1,400 people killed in what, Israel,
Plus hostages on top.
10 million people. I mean, you bring it up, it's probably about 10,000. I mean, it is. I can see why Israel is in a absolutely, you know, it's in a trauma on this.
But also, they're not.
It's how you conduct your right to self-defence and go after your enemy.
Underlying all of that is the fact that these weren't just civilians killed. You know, we had that terrible story of the girl with the famous tattoos who was literally stripped and some say raped and then dragged through the streets and spat on. You know, they didn't go in there just, it wasn't a war. They didn't just go into seized land. They went into
No, it's barbarous, absolutely barbarous. There's no question about that. But two wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, when civilians are killing, now you can argue Hamas deliberately went out to kill Israelis, that's true. But if you're dropping that number of bombs on a densely populated area like that, you will inevitably kill.
Which
there's thousands of women and thousands of children
because that gave them the PR.
Yeah, but you're not. It's all about. It's all about
I think
not.
We've got to move on.
Yeah, it's all about not killing civilians.
I'm just going to show the Daily Express as well, if we can.
No.
We can look for it.
Yeah, we can.
I can find it here.
Yeah, it's just the Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly, a little bit like Joe Biden did, suggesting that they will stop at nothing to get the British nationals out, calling it a hugely important first step, but vowed he will not rest until every UK national is free and back home. So, you know, the slow process. I don't think they've ever put a number, have they, on how many British nationals are there?
No, it's unsure. Let's hope the Scottish First Minister's family in-law.
Yeah, and what about the UK national captors, the people who are held hostage there? No mention of them. They've just kind of disappeared.
No. I think you'll find there's a lot of attention on hostages and calls repeatedly for them to be released because their seizure, again, was a war crime. It's against international law to seize people, use them as hostages like that, human shields. It's completely and utterly wrong.
I'm going to move on to COVID, if you don't mind. You know, it's been dominating as well for the last couple of days, starting with the Daily Star, in fact. Can we kill COVID by blowing a hairdryer up our hooters? The official inquiry here is that Boris Johnson was madder than Mad Jack McMad. It rings of Donald Trump talking about ingesting disinfectant, if you remember.
I do, yeah. I think it's like Trump called Johnson Britain Trump. He didn't call him Britain's Trump, it was Britain Trump. But there we are, he's having his disinfecting moment. This is from Dominic Cummings. And when you think it can't get any crazier and balmier, it does. But it also gets really, really nasty. You see all the chaos and the incompetence, and you've you see then all the misogynistic messages
can
and
I
the
just stop you there,
abuse.
Kevin? I just think I love The Star. I would love to be a headline writer on The Star because normally they just have so much fun. I think this is so off target for what has really gone on. And for a woman who's worked in politics for most of her life and who went through the 2001 election with William Hague, where it was not uncommon for someone to call me the C word. It was not uncommon for the Times to put a picture of my red lips, not even my face, across the whole banner saying, "Is this the most dangerous woman in Britain?" It was not uncommon.
The Times.
The Times.
The Times of London.
The Observer.
The establishment paper.
The Observer ran a full-page picture of me when it was a broadsheet of me looking like Rosa Klebb from a Bond
The
movie.
Liberal Observer.
Saying...
The conscience of the nation.
Describing me as the stilettoed assassin. And Anna, the reason I mention these things is because I think this is really important because, you know, when you look at that text that Dominic Cummings sent to, you know, the Deputy Cabinet Secretary, the words in it, first of all, bullshit, totally dismiss it. I can say that. I will personally handcuff her, OK? That is...
I'm going to warn offensive language,
No,
by the way,
I promise you. No, I promise you.
The last couple of days.
They've put me in detention. I promise you that they said I will personally handcuff her and escort her off the premises. That is a completely abusive, sort of sadomasochistic, you should know that, Kevin, thing to say. And when he says that woman must be out of my hair, Dominic Cummings didn't have any hair, and we cannot keep dealing with this horrific... Let me finish. This horrific meltdown, dodging stilettos from that C woman. Now, it was nearly a quarter of a century ago when I worked in politics, and we took the brickbats, you know. We knew that we were kind of forging through to a new era. And then you hear things like this. I think that anyone in any environment, especially in politics, whoever uses the C word...
OK, we're running out of time.
But that was yesterday's evidence in today's papers. The reason the Star have done this is it was today's evidence and it's in tomorrow's paper.
But we should,
that's why.
No, we should call them out. It should never, ever... Anyone who uses...
Oh, yeah, I'm not
in a
disputing
WhatsApp,
that.
they should be immediately dismissed from office.
OK, we'll have more time to talk about that a bit later on, thank goodness, because there's lots more to say, clearly. Also going to talk about big names in tech gathering for that AI summit. What's come out of it? We'll take a look in just a moment. Well, welcome back. You are watching the press preview with me once again, Kevin Maguire and Amanda Platell. Welcome back to both of you. To AI we go in a number of newspapers, in a number of guises, has to be said. Daily Mail, first of all, Amanda, Musk's chilling alert over AI. And certainly it's a real boost, is it not, for Rishi Sunak's summit that Elon Musk got to go there? Yeah, it is. It's a story that half the population don't have an idea about how threatening it is. I've got to say that. And it's kind of... I'm not including any of us in this. I'm an expert on AI. I mean, I just know it can't ultimately work, because how could you fake a robot that was Kevin Maguire? I don't know. The king is I'm sure you could try. The king who says, I will not interfere in politics. Once I become king, I will stand down. I mean, I think this is, you know, he's been in Kenya, now he's the king of AI. And next he's off. Where is it next? Yeah, but you know, Musk has saved it, because otherwise most prime ministers, presidents were not going to go. Yeah, they're just turning it down. A guy who's done more who's among a group of them, has done more to make the whole social media and this new world that we've entered into the most vicious and horrible place. He made Twitter worse. Comes out and sort of starts saying, but I want to talk about Charles's suits. Right. OK, go on then. Where are they? I think it's here in the. Is it really tiny? Rely on me. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. So it's inside the metro. OK, inside. Thank you, Anna. Inside the metro, there's a picture of Prince Charles tripping up as he gets on some grass. What I don't understand is he's one of the wealthiest men in the whole world, and his suits are shameful. He looks as though he's been out in the rain. But he likes double-breasted suits, doesn't he? I don't know if that is one, to be fair. No, it's a single... I don't know. That you should have warned me of that technical question. But for a bloke who inherited 400 million quid from his mum without paying tax, I mean, you would think he could dress a bit. Right, it's down the bottom. It's absolutely tiny. Looking fantastic. He's got people around him who dress sartorially beautifully. They've made all the effort, and he turns up looking like a bag man. It's not good enough, Charles. But he uses old everything, doesn't he? He doesn't believe in, you know, profligacy and overspending. He likes his old, you know, sofas. A man with 10 castles doesn't believe him. I mean,
when you're the King of England and you turn up...
I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I think, you know...
If you're the King of England and you turn up looking like a bag of spuds, when everyone's got their shoes shining, they're looking fantastic.
If you were there and you criticised a woman about that, you'd get beasted for that, wouldn't you?
It's not a woman.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. If I went on about Camilla dressing
I think she looks lovely.
But if I was to say she was frumpy
I just
or
think
something,
that-
which I'm not,
No, you're not.
you're right, I'd be hammered. So why, how dare you do that? What's sexism?
Okay, so when he's going up there, and this is a very important event. I've got 5 seconds. Very important.
Digging, stop digging, stop digging, stop
You never
digging.
shut up.
Gotta go.
That's your
Let's
problem.
get to the weather.
You look like an old bag man.
big
And if I
Here.
said that
Not good
short,
enough.
can you imagine?